What's going on, gamers and collectors? Today we are looking at my Super Nintendo collection. So here's the first console I ever got. It's still my original console, original box, all that good stuff. Very happy to still have that. It is literally my most prized possession in my collection. I love that thing. It's what got me into gaming. So let's check out the collection. Alright, so first we're going to go over these box games that I have. These are still from my childhood with the exception of one of them. So this one has a very good story to it. Let me find the other one that goes with this. So I got the Super in Christmas of 94 or 95. I can't remember. I was 4 or 5 years old. It was technically mine and my sister's. However, it kind of became mine because women aren't typically into video games. So I kind of just inherited it. So it was probably Christmas of 98 or 99, kind of the tail end, right when all the Super Nintendo shit was being pushed out of all the stores. So I had Christmas money, and I had my mom take me to Toys R Us. I was pretty sure it was my mom, and I picked up these two games, quite the two polar opposites of each other. This is Kirby's Avalanche and Mortal Kombat 3. So these are my original copies here. So this even still has this hang tag here, which I've never tried to take off just because it's, I don't know, I don't want to ruin the box, so it's just kind of going to stay there. But I remember getting home and my mom was totally cool about me having Kirby's Avalanche because it's a cute little pink puff ball on the cover. And then not cool about the Mortal Kombat 3 because it's mature, and then back in the 90s this was all over the news with so much controversy, and then my mom immediately knew what it was. Obviously I knew what it was too, and I wanted to have it. Just a great experience. I remember opening it up and then like looking through the manual back when, you know, and for kids nowadays that don't understand the fascination that older gamers have with manuals, it's because in the car ride you would look at the manual, or when you couldn't play the game because you were grounded, you would look at the manual, or I don't know, you would just look at the manual, and it was just fun to look at the artwork and what bosses and foes you're going to face and what lands you're going to travel to and what weapons you're going to use and all that kind of stuff. But so I remember just sitting in my doorway in my room, just panning through the manual like, oh god, I can't wait to play this, can't wait to play this. And it was right then when Sub-Zero caught my eye. And ever since then, Sub-Zero has been my main. I absolutely love Mortal Kombat. It was my favorite fighting game until I played Dead or Alive, and admittedly I just love Dead or Alive now, but still my second favorite fighting game. I love Sub-Zero, I love Scorpion, I love the whole lore of the franchise. But so these two games, I got these, and it was just a very good memory of mine to always reminisce on those. So the rest of my box games here, SimCity, really great game here. Played this a lot. The coolest feature about it was the fact that you could have Bowser come in and destroy the city. I loved doing that. And just, you know, just even dumb memories that I have, like there's a hole right here because when I was younger I stabbed it to like rip it open, and then like as it punctured, my parents were like, whoa, what are you doing? Because like the cart is right here. So luckily I didn't damage the cart, but I did damage the box here. But like it's just stupid memories that you get to cherish, and you know, with the video I'll always be able to watch it, and you know, with the box I should hopefully be able to always remember that. Now let me find my favorite franchise of all time. Was the first game that I played ever, and I think, judging by this box here, you can probably figure out what that is. Donkey Kong Country 1. Favorite game of all time, bar none. Nothing beats that game. I don't care what you have to say about it. It's my favorite game. It's the best music, it's just the best levels, the best level design, just everything about it. The enemies, fire truck ruining my damn video. Just everything about it to me is the best. I just absolutely love Donkey Kong Country 1, and then along with that, a few years later I got Donkey Kong Country 2, and then I got Donkey Kong Country 3. Again, these are all my original copies. I absolutely just cherish this franchise. So the order that they are in, that I enjoy them the most, would be Donkey Kong Country 1, then Donkey Kong Country 3, then 2. Most people would say 2, 1, 3, but I say 1, 3, 2. I really enjoy 2, but oh, these are dusty. But you know, it just, for me, it was just too hard. And then Donkey Kong Country 3 was almost too easy. And then Donkey Kong Country 1 is just, frankly, a masterpiece. I mean, it was just the best of its kind back in the day. It really was. So Absolutely love Donkey Kong Country. And then here's a great game that we all know and love, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Fantastic game here. Now this one, I have never beat this, and in the summer of 2019, this is on my bucket list to beat. This is Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Star, my original copy. I have never beaten this, so as a gamer, this kind of hurts my pride. So the little purple dinosaur that's at the beginning of the game, he's like literally the first boss you encounter. Never gotten past that. It's just never happened. I've tried many times, don't know why, but I've never been able to get past it. But this year, I'm going to beat this game, and I cannot wait to do it because it'll finally be just kind of like a crowning moment in my gaming career, I guess you could say, because like I got this, presumably whatever Christmas this came out, I think this was 96, so I guess I got this in 96 or 97 probably. So I was 6 or 7 years old, and I played it, multiple times throughout my life, and I just never been able to get past that little purple dinosaur. I'm sure somebody's going to laugh about that, but eventually I will get past this and beat this game and beat it to oblivion. Alright, so this is the last game that was from my childhood that's boxed. This is a cool game. Oh, you already saw the title there. Clay Fighter. I have a lot of fond memories with this. So my sister doesn't really play games with me anymore, unfortunately. She's older than I am, and just really, she's an adult and she's just not into it, and that's fine. Some people just aren't into it anymore. But occasionally, when I can get her to play, she'll go, "Can we play that Clay one?" And I'm just like, "Yes, we can." So because of that, this always holds a special spot in my heart, because it's just like the one game that my sister will play with me, even though it's frankly not really that good of a game. But like I just love it because the music, the characters. Mr. Frosty, he was cool. I forget what his name is, but he kind of looks like Gumby basically. And then you've got the special guy that's brain dead basically, and just a really cool game. I know the N64 ones, or the variant of the N64 one is pretty rare, but definitely a cool game, and you can get the card of this for like $5 or $10. So definitely recommend that one. It's definitely good for a good laugh. And one game that I had to add to the collection that I didn't own as a kid and wanted to own boxed, super dusty. This is Super Metroid. So I have this complete in box. I paid $25 for this many years ago. Got a very good deal on that because this is probably 100, 150 now complete in box. And this one's in pretty good shape. I don't keep them in the little protectors or anything like that. I just take good care of my games. Always have and always will, evident by the fact that I have all these from when I was a kid. Obviously, I had more games than that when I was a kid, but a lot of them, because I wasn't very well off, a lot of them were used when I was a kid. So those were the box games that I occasionally got on Christmases and birthdays. So there we are. There's Super Metroid. We'll go ahead and put that down there. Alien 3, I picked that up in my adult life. Really fun game. It's a good Contra-esque game. Pretty cool. Super Mario Kart. I never had this as a kid either. We've all played this a zillion times. Not much to say about it. Now here's one that I did have as a kid that my sister bought for Christmas, used at Funkoland. This is Tasmania, and a really cool game. Actually, you know what? I bought this one when we had Christmas money. I was very young, like under 10. We went to Funkoland. She bought Super Mario All-Star Collection. That's what it was. And I bought Tasmania because I was like, ooh, Looney Tunes. I got to get this Tasmania game. And, oddly, so this is by Sunsoft. Oddly enough, like I really just genuinely love this game. I still love picking it up and playing it. It still puts a smile on my face every time I play it. Great music. Really fun just pick up and play games. So you're basically Taz doing his little spinny thing going down a highway, and you reach out and grab birds. There's red ones, yellow ones, and blue ones. And there's like a desert level. There's like like a typical level where there's trees and telephone poles and stuff on the side. And it's a really fun game. Great music. Great sound effects. The sound effects in this are really good. Like you almost think that it's like the actual show, and I really love this game. Someday I'd love to get this complete in box, just because I really have a soft spot for this game. I really do. So a used copy from my childhood. This is UN Squadron. This was sent in by Chasing the Classics from a giveaway that I won. Cool shoot 'em up. Very difficult. Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Did not have this as a kid. Bought this, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago probably. I was still like young, but like an adult at that point. But Good game. Again, I've never beaten this, unfortunately. I'm not admittedly good at the 2D Zeldas, but the 3D ones I'm relatively good at. But oddly enough, I kind of like the 2D ones more, but I'm just not good at them, for however that works out. And then here's my sister's copy of Super Mario All-Stars, which she bought when I got Tasmania. Obviously, she made the better choice here because this is 4 Mario games in one. Or is it 4? Yeah, 4 Mario games. So you got the original one, the second one, the third one, and then Lost Levels. So this is 4 in 1 with the enhanced 16-bit graphics, rather. Really good game. We played the hell out of this. Another fun memory of mine was one time my mom and sister went out somewhere, and my dad and I stayed home, and we ended up, again, my dad never plays games with me, never has. Like I can count on maybe 3 occasions as he sat down and played games with me, because my dad's very old comparative to me. He had me very late in life, and so I remember one time we were playing. It had to have been Super Mario World 3, 3, because we had all the power-ups, and we were on whatever world it is where it has like a lot of cloud levels, and my sister had like 3 things of scrolling pages of power-ups, and we just straight used them all. And she got home, and she, I was under 10, and she was under 10 too. And she was like so excited to come back and play, and all the power-ups were gone, and it was just again another stupid memory that I really cherish from my childhood, and I think about it every time I pop this game, and really love this game. I really do. Good times, good times. So here we got SimCity. Really good experiences with this. I loved terrorizing the cities with like Bowser and the tornadoes, and just building up these massive, colossal cities, and just great times with that game. Great times. Now here's another one. A game, again, I've never beaten, but is on my list in 2018 to try to beat this finally. This is Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures. So this isn't like your typical kind of Pac-Man. You're like actually on foot, like in an adventure game. And I've never beaten this. Like you gotta like find this milk for your son, and you go on this adventure, and there's like, I remember there's this crazy dog, and like chickens and bees and shit, and just all sorts of weird shit. And again, this holds a really special spot for me, because like I played that shit out of this when I was a kid. Never got far in the game, but like I would always turn it on, and I vividly can remember the just the whole level. Like I could probably just draw it, because I'm also really good at drawing, if you didn't know that. But like I could probably like sit there and freehand the entire level, and like I just remember all the sound effects, and I just, again, I've never beaten it, and I really want to, so that's on my 2019 list to beat this game, and I really hope that I can. Now, one that I remember playing a lot at a friend's house in elementary school was Turtles in Time. I never had this as a kid. Bought this, I think I might have even bought this while I've had the channel. Obviously, there's not much that can be said about this. To me, this is one of the best beat-em-ups, period, and it is the best Ninja Turtles game, period. And I have played Hyper Stone Fight. It's okay, but that's clearly the superior version. Then we got Mortal Kombat 3 here. We already talked about that one. Goof Troop. Is it Goof Troop or Goof? Yeah, it's just Goof Troop. I picked this up when I've had the channel too. This is kind of a cool puzzle game. Kind of a hidden gem here. Not a lot of people talk about this one. Really cheap. Good game. Definitely pick it up. Now here's an expensive title that I do have in my collection. This took a long time to track down, but the first time I saw a legit copy, I was like, can't let you out of my sight, baby. Can't let it happen. Chrono Trigger. So again, I've picked this up while I've had the channel with my cousin. We went out to this flea market. It's a very weird flea market, because there's only maybe like 10 vendors, but they're all like huge vendors. Like they bring like rape vans full of just shit. And I'm talking, they've got like 3 or 4 tables, and they're just like stacked full of shit. Not games. There's one game dude, and then there's just like multiple people that do other shit. But so he had this. Really glad to have grabbed that. And there was a few other games that I did grab, which we'll get into here in a minute. My favorite cartridge of all time, Donkey Kong Country 1. Love this game to death. We're going to go ahead and put you up here. That's where you belong. Alright. Oof. Here we go. We got 2 good ones here, and then we still got 2 more whole stacks. So, I don't own... This was another game that I got for a Christmas present with, with Christmas money. Arguably one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. Some of the best music on the Super Nintendo, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about this game. Again, a great beat 'em up. Arguably better than Turtles in Time, because I kind of forgot this one in a second. They're definitely tied in my opinion, because they're both superheroes that I loved. This is Venom and Spider-Man Separation Anxiety. I love this game. Great music. One of the only games as a kid that I could actually beat because I just played the absolute piss out of this game. Just everything about this game is so good. Venom, Spider-Man and Batman are my favorite superheroes, but Venom has always been my favorite villain because he's just badass looking, right? I mean, like, Venom's fucking cool. So when I found this game, or I guess my parents, you know, they were like, "Ooh, look at Spider-Man," and I was like a little kid, and I'm like, "Oh, Spider-Man!" But you know, then I seen Venom on the cover, and then I seen like the girl Venom, and then Carnage is there, and then Spider-Man, and then you fight all the different Venoms, and then Daredevil will pop into this game as your ally, and then like you'll get different allies, and there's all sorts of different enemies, and just an absolutely fantastic experience. This was Acclaim back when they were in their golden age, and just I absolutely love that game. And here's another really rare title that I have for my Super. This was released in '97, I think, so well after the Super Nintendo was dead from the 64. This is Kirby's Dream Land 3. I believe I picked this up for about $50. It goes for about $100 now, unfortunately, but it is worth every penny of that. This is a game that I actually beat in 2018, and I really enjoyed it thoroughly. This has a lot of... I think this is the only game that has it where you have these little like companion guys. Because I've played a lot of the Kirby's, and I don't remember these, like the Gophers and all the other shit that you ride on, and you can do all sorts of different things. And this has a lot of power-ups that I think were firsts for the series that were in this game. I guess each game probably has its own initial first power-ups. What kind of time we got? We're at 16 minutes already? Alright, so here's another game that I remember playing as a kid at friends' houses but never had, and I got this, I believe, when I got the Chrono Trigger. This is Contra 3 The Alien Wars. Really great game. Don't really need to say a lot about that. Then we got Castlevania 4 here. Again, remember playing this as a kid but never had it. And I've picked it up now, and I've probably beaten this a good 2 or 3 times, and I really love it. Really great game. Now here's another one that, again, I remember playing as a kid but never had. Well, actually, you know what? I remember playing the Genesis version of this, not the Super version. This is Super Ghouls and Ghosts. So I actually have both the Genesis and the Super versions now. A really good game. Not terribly expensive. Probably about 30-ish bucks. Really good game to pick up. I think this was a launch title, actually, if I remember. Or no, Castlevania definitely was. I think this might have been too. Really good game, and very difficult though. Very difficult to beat. Now again, another game that I played at my buddy's house on his Genesis back in the day was Zombie Ate My Neighbors. I only own the Super version because, I don't know, there's really almost no point in owning both versions. Just, I believe only the music is different. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that, but Zombies Ate My Neighbors, really cool game. Uncommon, I guess, because people want it in their collection, but not necessarily rare. Here's a really good game right here. This is Mega Man X. This was the first Mega Man game that I ever played, and I really enjoy it, and I still pop this in quite a bit to play because it's great music and great visuals. This was definitely an early on, if not a launch title, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely early on for the Super, I know that. Really good. Then there was X2 and X3. Also, those are insanely expensive, but X1 is relatively reasonably priced. Then we got Fantasy Star. Oh, sorry, Fantasy Star. Final Fantasy 2. This was given to me in a trade by MC Murr. Shout out to him. Haven't delved into this yet because this is probably a good 30 or 40 hours that I would need to beat that. Then we got Top Gear here. I love these sort of old school Outrun-esque type games where you're going, you know, forward or whatever. It's probably for my love of Tasmania that got me into that. Here's a quintessential game back in the 90s, The Lion King. Cool platformer game. Then we've got ActRaiser 2. Cool action platformer game. Haven't gotten too far into it yet because I just frankly haven't. This is an Enix game, so that was before Square Enix. This was like one of the things that they did. Then we got a shoot 'em up here. I love shoot 'em ups. If you follow the channel, you know that I love those. This is Phalanx. So it has a dude playing a banjo on the front of it, which is kind of funny, in space. I don't think he has anything to do with the game. And then this I definitely picked up with Chrono Trigger because I remember this for a fact because I was like, oh man, I got 2 cool JRPGs on the Super Nintendo. This is Final Fantasy 3. So that's a really good one, which is technically Final Fantasy 5 or 6, like in the real Japanese versions. I don't know how that works, but in America it's Final Fantasy 3. I guess it would be 6 because 7 was on the PlayStation 1. Then we got my Clay Fighter here. Mortal Kombat 2 I picked up way later in life. Obviously 3 is going to be better because it's got more fighters. Donkey Kong Country 2, my Kirby's Avalanche, my Yoshi's Island, Tecmo Super Bowl. This was actually a recommendation from a buddy that I worked with. He was really super big into the Super Nintendo, and he if I could get him to come into a video, he would challenge the whole internet to Tecmo Bowl. He thinks and probably is the best player at Tecmo Bowl. Like I mean, he's never lost. Like I don't know if he has some kind of secret thing that he does or something. I don't know, but he's very good at Tecmo Bowl. It's like pretty much all he plays. Then we got Super Star Wars here. Then we got Kirby Superstar 8 games in 1. So I believe this was a pretty late game for the Super Nintendo. This is a very weird kind of mashup, kind of combo pack, really, I guess you could say. It's cool, though. Then we got Secrets of Evermore. I haven't delved too much into this. Now, on the back of this box, there's actually a picture of this ant guy. And as a kid, you always look at the box, or at least I did. I don't know, maybe I'm a weirdo, but I definitely am a weirdo. But either way, I would always look at the pictures on the box and be like, oh, I want this game, and I want this game. And I remember this being on the back of there. And frankly, let's just go ahead and check the back of that out real quick. Kind of hate touching this thing. So on the side here, you got the Mario paint, which is cool. And then on the other side, you got Yoshi's Safari with the Super Scope. And on the back here, you've got Donkey Kong, obviously, Tetris 2, Super Punch Out, Illusion of Gaia, Stunt Race FX, Super Metroid, NHL Stanley Cup, 10 Star. So that's another game I'd like to get, but I've never seen that, so I'm guessing that's probably kind of rare. Then you've got Ken Griffey Jr.'s Major League Baseball, Una Racers, I don't have that either, Super Mario World, and you know what? I remember where that is now. The picture that is on Secrets of Evermore is actually on the poster that comes with this one, and then there's also a Star Fox poster, which is a creepy poster because it has Star Fox actually like a furry Star Fox, and like Falco and Peppy and shit, and they're like made out of fur. Very weird. I wonder if Nintendo still has those puppets, because they should definitely be on display in the North American store or whatever. So where are we at here? We're at Donkey Kong Country 3. I already told you about that one. F-Zero, I got this very late in life. I love F-Zero GX, and I love F-Zero X is what the 64 one's called, I believe. I love those absolutely to death. Star Fox, very big into the later Star Foxes. Got this a little bit later in life. I was probably in my late teens when I got this. Really cool game. I remember picking this up at like GameStop when they still had Super Nintendo bins, just picking through there, and I was like, what is this Star Fox thing? And I was like, oh, I played this on N64. And then we got a game here that I'm terrible at, but I do like, and it actually was resurrected on the Xbox One, Killer Instinct. Really cool game made by Rare. Rare is my favorite company because of Donkey Kong. I think that I own every game that Rare has ever made, at least console-wise, physically in North America. I'm pretty confident in saying that. So you got Killer Instincts here. Now here's a really weird one that I oddly kind of like. I picked this up later in life. This is Super Battle Tank. Kind of a meh game, but I don't know. I kind of like it for some weird reason. Then we got Super Scope 6. I don't have a Super Scope, so I can't play that. Then we got the original Mortal Kombat. Again, not as good as 3. Super Mario RPG. ActRaiser 1. Now here's a cool one here. This is, I think they call this Goemon in Japan, but in America this is The Legend of Mystical Ninja. And I think the second one was on the Super, and then the third one is on the 64, I believe. Or maybe it's the second one that's on the 64. I don't know. Yeah, and then I think the third one was on 64 only in Japan. Again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But this is a really beautiful looking game on the Super. Absolutely fantastic game. It's action sideways, then you're kind of going upwards, and it's its whole thing. It's kind of its own thing. It's a cool ass game. Really cool, very beautiful looking graphics. This was before Konami sucked. No Super Nintendo collection is complete without a Street Fighter game. This is Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I actually have this complete in box on the Genesis as well. However, the Super one is obviously the better one. Then we got Earth Defense Force, or EDF. Picked this up pretty recently, actually. Very clean copy. It's okay. And then the last two here. Okay, interesting titles here at the end. Arguably the most popular and best Super Nintendo game, other than Donkey Kong Country, of course, is Super Mario World. And this is a weird title that I'm going to go ahead and say is kind of a niche hidden gem that not a lot of people talk about. This is, let me see how you pronounce this, Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow. So this is basically a Donald Duck game where you're playing as, I guess his name's Maui Mallard or Cold Shadow, I'm not sure. This was presumably based on a Disney 90s cartoon, or like an alter alias of Donald Duck, which is basically what this is. Cool action platform game. Again, it's Capcom, so it's, or no, is it Capcom? No, I guess this was when Disney still made games. So really great music, great platformer, great, just great everything. The graphics are great, just everything about it's great, and it's super cheap game, super fun. I don't know about finding it in the wild because it's not uncommon, but it's like on the side of being uncommon to where you're probably gonna have to buy it online. But it is definitely cheap. I mean, I think I bought mine for like $5 to $10, so it's totally a cheap game. Definitely worth picking up. So that is my Super Nintendo collection. Kept it under half an hour. Not adding gameplay to this one, unfortunately, because that's kind of a lot of games. I know I typically do that in my collection videos, but this is like, I don't know, 60 or 70 games at this point, so like I'm just not going to add all that gameplay to it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, learned something new, saw something you might like. As always, be sure to like the video, comment something down below, subscribe if you're new, and as always, peace out for now. Till next time.
Come here, you mother... Oh, this is it, baby.